The topics covered under shell programming are necessity of shell programming, pipes and redirection, redirecting output, redirecting input, pipes, then shell as a programming language. Within that, we are going to cover three parts. One is interactive programs, then creating a script and making a script executable. Then after that, we are going to discuss about shell syntax, which contains the subtopics like variables, conditions, control structures, functions, commands, and command execution. So these are the topics that are covered in shell programming. The first topic is the necessity of shell programming. What is the necessity of shell programming? One of the reasons to use the shell for programming is with the help of shell, we can write the programs very quickly and we can write the programs very simply. And moreover, a shell is always available even on most of the basic Linux installations. So shell is available on most of the basic Linux installation systems. The shell is also ideal for any small utilities that can perform some relatively simple task for which efficiency is not that much important. That is, it is ideal for any small utilities that perform some relatively simple task for which efficiency is not that much important. And we are not going to focus also on configuration, maintenance, and portability. That means we are not going to mainly focus on the efficiency of the program or the configuration of the program or the maintenance of the program and portability of the program. So we are going to mainly focus on the simplicity of the program. So we can use these shell programs to organize the process control. So we can use the shell program to organize the process control in the sense that, so when I want to execute any program, as per the operating system course, the process is program under execution. That means when a program is executing, a process is responsible to run your program. So I need to control or I need to organize the processes. So in order to organize the process control, I have to use this shell so that the commands run in a predetermined sequence. That means when the processes are running in the system to run your program, the commands may run in some sequence, which are already determined by the system or by the particular application program or by the program with which we are executing your application program. So it is going to predetermine some commands that you want to run in some sequence dependent on the successful completion of each and every stage. That means if the commands that we have are X, Y, and Z, once the X is completed and it is successful, then it is going to execute Y. Then if Y is successful, then it is going to execute Z. So likewise, so we can use shell to organize the process control so that we can run the commands in a predetermined sequence dependent on the successful of the command's execution in each and every stage. So this is the necessity of the shell, and also we have some similarities with the Windows command prompt. As we are saying that a shell is used to organize the process control where we can run commands. In the sense, it is similar to that of Windows command prompt, but it is much more powerful than Windows command prompt, which is capable of running reasonably the complex programs in its own way. Not only we can execute the commands and execute Linux utilities, we can also write the programs to make a command, or we can also write the program to make a Linux utility. And the shell execute the shell programs, which is often referred to as the script. The shell is going to execute a shell program, which is often referred to as a script, which is interpreted at runtime. This generally makes debugging easier because you can easily execute single lines There is no recompilation time as we are interpreting. So, however, this can make the shell unsuitable for some time critical tasks. Time critical tasks in the sense we have some priority for a task to complete. In that cases, a shell is not that much suitable. So, what is this shell? A shell is a program that acts as an interface in between the user and the Linux system, which enables the user to enter some commands for the operating system to execute. So now I'm going to show the figure how the shell and other programs sit around the Linux kernel. So I'm going to show the figure. If you look into the figure, it shows I have two different shells that I have. I have more number of shells, but I have specified only two different shells here. How these shells are going to sit along with other programs around the kernel. Because Linux system is so modular, we can slot in one of the many different shells in use. As Linux is so modular, we can use many different shells. We can use many different shells, although most of them are derived from the original Bourne shell. Most of the shells are derived from the original Bourne shell. And the standard shell in Linux, what is the standard shell in Linux that we are going to use? The standard shell in Linux that we are going to use always is bash, that is GNU born again shell, so which is located in /bin/sh. That means the standard shell in Linux is located in /bin/sh. And because this is an excellent shell that is always installed on Linux systems. In any Linux systems, the bash is the default shell that is installed in it. And because the reason here is it is an open source and it is portable to almost all the Unix variants. And we can check the version of the bash with the help of the following command. So that is /bin/bash space _version. So I have executed the command /bin/bash space _version. So the version here is 5.0.17 of 1. And this is, if you observe, it is a free software and you are free to change and redistribute it. So now I'm going to show some other shells that are located. That is a /bin/sh is the default shell that is located in the system. Similarly, we have a /bin/bash /bin/tcsh, that is a turbo C shell. tcsh means turbo C shell. Then /bin/csh. So these are the different types of shells that I have. There is a sh means it is a Bourne shell, and bash means born again shell. So normally we are calling sh as Bourne shell. Sh means it is the original shell from the early versions of the Unix. That is the original shell that we are using in Unix environment. That is a Bourne shell. And it was modified with some features, which is called as bash. And this is the Linux stable shell from GNU project. Bash or born again shell, which has the advantage that the source code is freely available. And even if it is not currently running on your Unix system, it has probably been ported to it. And Korn shell means it is KSH, that means Korn shell, that is KORN, written by David Korn. So this is the default shell on many commercial Unix versions. Next one, it is a C shell, TCSH and Jet shell. C shell and its derivatives like TCSH and Jet shell are originally created by Bill Joy of Berkeley University. And the C shell is probably the third most popular type of shell after bash and Korn shell. In most of the Linux systems, we are using the default shell as bash shell, which is more powerful and simple. But in most of the Unix commercial versions, we are going to use Korn shell.